And the two movies you mentioned are shot by one of the pioneers of cinematography in modern Indian cinema, Mr. P.C. Sriram. Madras Talkies feels like home because I've known so many people who worked there for more than 20 years. People like to come back and work with us again and again. It was a very vibrant young unit, and it was shot on the streets of Chennai. That has been an inspiration for so many filmmakers for decades, but no one got around to making that into a film. Is that people who don't know him personally don't know how loving and caring he is about everybody in general.
Let's talk about cinematography. The visuals in Madras Talkies have been so striking. In every film, we talk about OK Kanmani, Alaipayuthey, every frame felt alive. How important you think visuals are in telling the story and creating emotions?
But let me just copy my boss's words. He says the words are very important. The handwriting is important, but not as much as the words. So the content is king. But how beautifully you portray. Beautiful doesn't necessarily mean backlight and perfect framing alone. Beautiful for the theme, for the emotion of the scene, for the movie. There is important. If you can do that, there's nothing like it. And the two movies you mentioned are shot by one of the pioneers of cinematography in modern Indian cinema, Mr. P.C. Sriram. Cinematographers in our movies have been not even A category; they've been A plus. They've been among the very best in the country, and we treat them like superstars. Whatever they want to get their visuals, we like to provide from our side, and we like to support them. All the direction department people work almost like assistant cinematographers because we are very keen to see how these masters of the light work with our director and create all these visuals. Yes, the technical side of Mr. Mani's movies are that side is very important because I think a film will stand the test of time and work even many decades down the line if it is grammatically correct and made well. Something like a Billy Wilder film. It's he made his best films in the 1950s, but you see them and they look so good even now because they are grammatically correct. So that is the purpose of good cinematography, as in any good technique, good sound, good editing, because they make the movies timeless.
Which area do you really concentrate on? Not as a director or a storyteller, but as a producer.
It's very difficult for me to segregate those responsibilities in my mind. Like, I think everybody is working towards making the best film they can. So, whatever is right for the film, I'll do. Again, what is right can be defined by your responsibility. There is a moment where you can spend millions and millions more to satisfy somebody's requirement or hold back so that you don't throw money away that easily when it is needed for something else more important at a later stage. So that is probably the only production decision you want to take, where you want to just keep an eye on where things are going, but whatever is correct for the film you should do. I think being privy to the creative process makes me a happier producer. I travel with the director to the shooting spot. I go for location scouts with them. I am part of the direction department's WhatsApp group where they're bitching about everybody else. So it just makes me aware of the changes that are being done to the film on a day-to-day basis and prepares me better for what is needed. So as a producer, I would still be concentrating on what the decisions that we're taking on that particular day would do to the script and ultimately to the whole film. So my focus is always on what serves the script the best.
You're an executive producer too, right? So what are the key differences, between these roles? Executive producer, producer, director.
I think the difference between a director and producer is pretty obvious. I think that director is the one who literally directs everybody. The he or she is the person who tells everybody what tone to assume, which direction to go to make this film the best way possible. An actor may be able to deliver one dialogue in five different ways, but to consistently maintain a particular tone and style for the whole film, the director's eyes are needed to tell them what to do. So that way, The director is somebody with the perfect aesthetic judgment for the particular project and maintains that integrity in everybody's performance, actors or technicians. Whatever they do to the film, the director ensures that they are doing it for the particular film. The producer and the executive producer, in the Indian sense, would be, let me just put it this way, the producer is somebody who raises money and who sells the film for the right kind of profit. So they know how to raise the money. So for that, they will have certain requirements like having this many actors, these actors, or with these actors, I can only sell this film for X. So I want to make this film for X minus 20. The overall control of the finances is the responsibility of the producer, which means some of the very big decisions about who plays the lead role, who scores music, how much we can spend on the whole project, that becomes the producer's responsibility. The executive producer is somebody who handles from the budget onwards. So the executive producer is given a clear mandate: finish this film for this X minus 20 so that I can sell it for X. This X minus 20, I want you to make sure is spent properly on what is actually required for the film. So don't waste stuff, get the right sets done, put up people where they have to, but don't give everybody unnecessarily expensive accommodation because we are not going to see it on screen. You know, those kind of conversations. Executive producer is somebody who manages the production on a day-to-day basis.
You really wear many hats. You're a director, producer, lyricist. You also act. Out of these roles, which one do you enjoy the most and feel closest to?
Actually, I'm very happy to be given any opportunity to be part of a film. But since you've asked, let me be honest with you. I love the idea of writing scripts and producing movies. Those two are probably my most favorite parts of the film because by getting to write, you have a direct hand in entertaining people in the theaters. You know, that's the whole idea of movies, right? So people come to the theater, they go, whoa, they laugh, they cry, they learn something. So you're able to share your thoughts with all these millions of strangers, and writing that way is it's an honor to write movies. And by being a producer or an executive producer, you kind of make sure the integrity of the idea is maintained and it's never compromised. So those two are probably my most favorite positions in filmmaking.
You've been working with Madras Talkies for very long now. What do you think is the essence of that particular, production house?
It's a very old school production house. And there have been a lot of very good production houses all over the country, in Kolkata, in Mumbai, in Chennai, and probably in the last 30 years, some in Hyderabad also. But traditionally, Kolkata, Chennai, and Mumbai were the main filmmaking centers in the country. And from 1920s onwards, I think there have been so many production houses, but only about 20-30 of them have actually worked non-stop for a quarter century or more. And these are old-fashioned production houses, meaning people who work there never need to feel insecure. There is a, oh, this is my home kind of a vibe that is created by the bosses, where you are able to express your ideas, you are able to make genuine mistakes, and you're fine if you are willing to learn from them and not repeat them. And there is no internal politics, and you know that you're going to work with a particular set of people over and over again. So you learn to appreciate their strengths and forgive their small weaknesses. So in that sense, Madras Talkies feels like home because I've known so many people who worked there for more than 20 years, 28 years now. People like to come back and work with us again and again. I think that is the culture that I'm very proud of and want to continue.
What's the one thing you learned from Mani Ratnam that stayed with you, and that really stuck with you and shaped the way you approach your own work?
He bases all his decision on the overall welfare of the film. He doesn't take shortcuts. He doesn't take decisions to please somebody temporarily, including his own ego. So there is nothing done. No argument is won for the sake of feeling good about it momentarily. In the long run, finally, for the overall picture, whatever is the best call, he chooses to take that. That may including compromising on some money here or changing a hiring decision or losing a very, very good scene that he was very proud of writing or even shooting at times, or going for patch shoot to fix a close up that he's not happy with. So all the decisions he takes, keeping in mind only what is right for the film at the end of the day, it just uncomplicates your thought process. You're not driven by your ego. You're not driven by somebody else's ego. And when you ask somebody to come back and work again, you don't feel like you're asking them for a favor because you're not doing it for yourself. You're doing it for the film. It just makes you a lot more humble and focused and gives you better control over what you do. I think that I have observed in him and that's blown my mind. Have I learned from it? Yeah, I wish I had. I don't know, but that's such a very very evolved position that he has taken, and that's very inspiring.
What do you think was the magic behind Rosa, Bombay, they'll say? Any particular thing that you feel that this was the reason it was so liked by audiences?
Let me just start with the disclaimer. Obviously, my perspective is from a Tamil speaking person, right? So, obviously, I've seen Roja and Bombay in Tamil, naturally, but I'm sure it holds true for the whole country because I think I saw Bombay first in Hindi. So, what I think made those films special would be something to do with the portrayal of those lead characters, so to speak. Character played by Madhu in Roja was inspired by Savitri of the Satyavan Savitri story. So it is from the soil of this country where we had women like that, and there are stories like that where a brave woman brings back her husband from the jaws of death.
Yeah.
And I think Bombay also came at a very critical time when we were and we still are very much interested in harmony, and any strife was heartbreaking, even if you are not directly affected by it, because you are only a stone's throw away from being a victim of any of those clashes. Those movies, in different ways, brought up something that was very essential for the society, for the people,
Mm-hmm.
and the emotions were not alien. They were very much indigenous. They were for our country, for our audiences. So immediately the movies connected with people across the nation, from Kashmir to Kanyakumari, and that kind of one thematic connect for the whole nation is a little rare. It happens, but it doesn't happen all the time.
We'll talk about your film, Alaipayuthey. What was so special about that film? Because I think it was huge among youngsters at that point
Yeah,
in time.
Shad and I were both assistant directors in the film, and Shad eventually made that as Satya later. So I think you should ask Shad about it because he actually made it in Hindi. So it was special because we worked with very young cast and crew. I think Mr. Mani and Mr. P. C. Sriram, the cinematographers, were the really experienced hands. Everybody else was young. The heroine, Shalini, had done maybe 30, 40 films as a child actor, but she had just made her mark as a heroine in a couple of movies before that. So, other than the three of them, everybody else was new, including Maddie. So, it was a very vibrant young unit, and it was shot on the streets of Chennai, and we had to pull a lot of favors with our friends from our friends, and we cast new people. So it had the energy of fresh director's film, even though it was made by a veteran.
You are a producer of Thug Life. How was your experience working with Kamal Haasan? People often say that we learn something or the other from everyone we work with. What was that one thing that, you learned from him?
I'm a lucky guy. I worked for Mr. Kamal Haasan back in the mid 2000s for a couple of years as his line producer. So this was an absolute dream come true to actually uh, be with the two cinematic idols of mine. I don't think there is a day goes by without me quoting or remembering something Kamal sir has told me. I think his biggest strength, in my opinion, is that people who don't know him personally don't know how loving and caring he is about everybody in general. He is somebody who looks around wherever he is and he has empathy towards every person in every nook and corner of his universe, and that reflects in his movies. You will see him playing so many different characters with the empathy that he has. So he's a very, very inspiring man, and I think it's an absolute honor that I got to work with the two of them.
What did you learn professionally from him?
Observing him at work is like observing Tendulkar's batting. There is very, very exalted level of performance. So the first thought that crosses your mind is that this is not going to happen for me. This has to come naturally. So much talent, one can't artificially whip up. They have to be blessed with that. That's the first thought that you have. But then you realize the hard work that goes behind honing natural gifts. Mr. Kamal also, you observe that he doesn't take anything for granted. Like if there is a scene, he has to read it again and again until he internalizes the lines, and then he has to rehearse properly and always keeping an eye on going for the best possible option. So, not taking his talent for granted and believing in diligence and hard work and preparation, that is something that you have to learn from Kamal sir. I think I think he would have made a very good lawyer, very good doctor, a very good engineer, because those are the traits that makes anybody to the top of the tree in any chosen profession.
You've been part of some of the biggest films like Ponniyin Selvan, Sachin, Billion Dreams, so Surma, Thug Life. These are all very different films. What's your personal takeaway from each of them? And what's one thing you hope that audience, take away from these films?
I played different roles in these films. I was an executive producer in one or two of them. I was the executive producer in PS1 and 2, and in Surma and in Chekashivandavanam, I also co-wrote the script. In Sachin A Billion Dreams, I was a co-writer of the fiction part of the docudrama. In Thug Life, I was a producer. So my roles were probably a little different in each of those films. And being only a co-writer in Sachin, probably I had uh, technically I shouldn't have had any participation beyond that. But the producer is my friend, so I got to work a little more on that as well. So, what did I take away from this? I think each movie is very special for me. So, I'm not obviously going to rank my working experience in any of them. But you can see that some of them are Tamil movies, some one in Hindi and one in English, so to speak. You realize that the cinema language that we speak across the country is one, and obviously people working in one industry end up working in the other as well, so that makes life very exciting. Let's say for PS1 and 2, for example, and it's a 10th century epic based on very famous novel that has been an inspiration for so many filmmakers for decades, but no one got around to making that into a film. So making that was a creative challenge and a physical challenge, so to speak. Whereas Chekachavandavanam came from a moment of inspiration. When I went to Agra, something hit me hard, and eventually, when I read Abraham Irali's book on emperors of the Peacock Throne, eventually I wanted to make that into a screenplay. And Surma actually came to us. Chitrangada Singh and Sony Pictures had hired Shad to make Sandeep Singh's story into a film. So you got attached to projects at different times, and they are all of different scales. And you have to learn to run from that point onwards. In one case, you carry the baton, hand it over to somebody. In some other case, somebody gives you a baton, and you have to maintain the pace of the team. So, but it's a team sport. Filmmaking is a team sport. I hope I get to make more films, but each movie you've mentioned, I'm super proud of being part of.
What would you tell your 20-year-old self?
If you want to work in movies, please do. It's going to be a lot of fun. Don't be worried.
Thank you so much for joining me today. I have learned so much about films through you, and the magic that Madras Talkies has created is incredible. And I hope you continue to do that. Thank you so much again for,
All the credit goes to my boss. I'll convey your wishes to him. Thanks for having me.